Satnam. Still adjusting my space here. All right, welcome, welcome, welcome. Today is day 56. Oh my gosh. I don't know. It is not like there's this desire to present some material for deep thought, but sometimes there isn't. Maybe sometimes you have your own. And because this is almost feels like a one way, I'd hate to, present my stuff, and I want to be mindful of your individual journey through this practice and through your experiences that you're gaining through this practice. These are definitely some wild times, and there's a lot going on the micro level and the macro level, but I keep coming back to what's here, what's inside, what's little, and so is out there in the big arena. So it's all connected, and so if we could realize that and process it from that angle, I think some of the aches and pains and emotional triggers and situations, it kind of tend to dissolve a little bit, or they're not as glaring, they're not so sharp when we look at it from I don't want to say higher perspective, but perhaps broader perspective. Perhaps it's higher and broader, or maybe all encompassing. It's like I'm never settled in what is, I'm being very careful when I tell myself like, oh, this is how it is. Oh, I know this. I'm like, that is almost like an inner trigger now. And I'm always questioning, little things, simple things like, yesterday my son and I were pulling weeds. And as I'm pulling weeds, I, have this internal dialogue going on, and I'm just listening, I'm just watching it. And the dialogue goes something like, well, what made this plant to be called a weed, and why do we pull it out? Mother Nature created it, so that must be for a purpose. So this plant must have purpose. Why am I being, not necessarily like a bully, but I'm being like the exterminator, like I'm pulling these weeds out, I'm denying them life and prosperity, be what they meant to be. Who's the judge? Who labeled those plants as weeds? I'm just curious, and I'm always curious about things like that when it comes to nature. Just like trimming the trees, tending is like, okay, I've come to understanding like, okay, with the trees and trimming branches, it's like first felt like, oh my God, am I hurting the tree? Or like I started to commune with the trees and I talk to them, and I have some plants where I touch them and I'm like, oh my gosh, you've grown so much. And if I share that with certain people that are looking at me like I'm crazy, and then I have other people in my life that would be like, oh yeah, I do that too. So it's amazing how vast and unique we all are in our own way, but don't lose that curiosity, don't lose that ability to question and wonder your actions, and your beliefs, because some beliefs are so deep, and some beliefs we just accepted blindly. We didn't necessarily sit with it and ask our own intuition, is this for me? Is this for me? We've talked about different things before, like being a vegetarian or being a vegan. Is it for everyone? Not necessarily. You know, people are made up of different stuff. People have different perspective, different paths, and we have to be respectful of that. And I think the biggest thing that I'm coming to realize is that there isn't necessarily a right and a wrong. You know, it's all how we perceive it. It's all what we label it as. So hear that. We're gonna tune in and we're gonna continue on with our practice. Today's day 56. Oh my gosh. I'll be flying to New York on the 16th of September and I'll be returning October 4th. So definitely the background is going to change. I'm not sure yet. And yeah, when I get too wrapped up in my mind, how I'm gonna make it work, what am I gonna do, how I'm gonna control the external environment, then the other part of my mind chimes in and says, don't worry about it. You know, everything will work out and everything will play out exactly how it meant to be. And so I'm very grateful for that quiet little voice within my mind that comes in and takes the worry and the stress out. And I think that voice is getting a little bit of momentum, a little bit more opportunities to speak up because I'm giving it more attention. I'm not ignoring it, where the ego or the, you know, the drive is like always to be perfect and to be on time and just to have no flaws. It's like, hey, you know, it's life, you know, and it's just to continue to show up is what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna continue to show up however it plays. Maybe I'll be doing it on the roof of the New York City apartment buildings. Maybe I'll be down in the basement. Maybe I'll be just, you know, like who knows, I cannot tell. And why drive myself crazy trying to figure it out? I'm just gonna let it be. The universe got my back. The universe knows I want to continue with this challenge. I want to practice it. The universe knows I'm going to serve my parents wholeheartedly and be there for them to support them when they need me the most. And just like when my father had a stroke and I was there for him, it impacted me on levels that I could not have even predicted. The wounds that I've carried from my childhood, the perception I had of my dad, a lot of the stuff was healed. We don't always have like perfect childhood. We have moments that really hurt us and we buried it inside and we never addressed it. And all those wounds came up, and, you know, helping my dad and spending so much time with him, it was beautiful. It was so beautiful that I can't even describe it. And it continues to be that way because my relationship with my dad completely transformed for the better. I mean, it is just elevated. It elevated. I feel that my dad is now seeing me, seeing the true me, who I am, what I represent, because before it felt like it was very different. It was almost like cold, non-emotional, automatic. You know, you just do the function. You just do the daughter function. And now it's, you know, the loving daughter, the nurturing daughter. Now it's the human being. Now it's like the friend. Now it's like, you know, a soul-to-soul conversations, you know, and it's beautiful. It completely changed my relationship with my father. And so now 2020 would have it, I travel more in this year than in any years before. So now when I'm going to go to support my mom, she's going to be undergoing some surgery and will need my help with recovery and also taking care of my dad. I'm looking forward to what that will bring, because my mom also has a lot of trauma, and a lot of the trauma is inherited. You know, even though our childhoods were similar but different, that trauma, that energy does get passed down to us to some extent through our DNA. It becomes part of who we are. And so I pray that I am able to hold space for her. I pray that I will be able to be there for her and for me, you know, to be able to process my own stuff and yet help mom heal whatever that might come up for her. I'm a strong believer that when we don't process our emotions, situations that kind of shook us to our core, or situations that were not resolved to our satisfaction, or things that trigger us, those emotions, those energies remain in our body, in our mind, in our subconscious. Wherever it latches on, that's where it stays. And only when we're feeling it again, we're facing those emotions again, that we're able to give space to that emotion, to that energy be, and just witnessing it and allowing it to be processed. You know, it's like metabolizing that. And only then I feel that we're able to release it. We're able to let it go. There's a lot of intellectual stuff that goes on. We're like, oh yeah, I forgave so-and-so, and I understand. I'm one of them. I went through college, I majored in psychology, I wrote lots of papers on my childhood, and I forgave my parents. I knew they did the best they could. And it's like, yeah, intellectually, we get it. We totally get it. And we could say ourselves, oh yeah, I forgave everything and everyone. I'm this great, you know, person moving forward. But it takes so much more than that. It takes so much more than that. And when you truly forgive, or when you truly process the emotion and the pain, and you're feeling it again, and then you're letting it go, undoubtedly and undeniably, one would feel their heart open a little wider. And that's what I felt with my dad. I felt my heart opening so much wider. And the benefit of that is that didn't just open with my dad, it opened more in general to all of life, to all the masculine, to all the, you know, to everyone that I come in contact. And that's the beauty of it. So just wanted to share that. All right, so we're gonna tune in with Adi Mantra, Om Namo Gurudev Namo. You bow to you bow to the wisdom within, you bow to your higher self, your intuition, your source, your energy, whatever you want to label that greatness that is existing within and around us. Let's sit up nice and tall with a lengthened spine, hands in prayer mudra in front of the heart center. Let's take a deep inhale through the nose and exhale through the nose. Closing the eyes gently if that feels safe for you. Inhaling deeply all the way down to the root chakra. Exhale, releasing the shoulder blades down the back, relaxing the body, yet maintaining this uplifted yogic posture. Inhale deeply again. Suspending the breath at the top, attune and align yourself to your highest vibration, connecting to that pure essence of who you truly are. Exhale. And let's inhale deeply to tune in. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Adgure Name, Jugadgure Name, Sadgure Name, Sri Gurudeve Name. Adgure Name, Jugadgure Name, Sadgure Name, Sri Gurudeve Name. Adgure Name, Jugadgure Name, Sadgure Name, Sri Gurudeve Name. Deeply inhale. Suspend the breath at the top. Keep the gaze to the eyebrow point. Engage the Mula Bandha root lock, consolidating the energy. Being centered, being focused, being grounded. And exhale, release. Satnam. All right. So fists of anger to transmute energy. And when I say bring up the energy of anger within your body, if it comes, great. If it doesn't, great. Just be with it. Go with the breath. The breath is purifying. It energizes. It oxygenates your blood. There's a lot of benefit with the breath of fire. And when we do it through the O-shaped mouth, it is purifying. So think of this as purification of your body, of your physical vessel, but also energetic, right? So it's also energy. It's all subtle energies that we don't necessarily feel at times. But the more we practice this Kundalini Yoga practice, or any practice that kind of helps you center, where you're not in your head worrying about your postures necessarily, but you're intending on connecting with your soul, awakens the Kundalini energy. And with my children being back to school, there's a lot of uncertainties and there's definitely a lot of challenges, and there's not a shortage of things that I could feel uneasy about. You know, my children share with me that there's now a category of people that called Zoom bombers. They jump on a Zoom calls and say not nice things, and it disturbs the flow of teaching, and it's hard. And I'm personally sitting uneasy with the fact that the teachers that are brave enough to go back to teach in a classroom, they're not only teaching to the classroom, but they're also teaching to the folks online. They call them hybrid classes. I just feel it's so unfair and it's so challenging, and it's rough, and my heart goes out to them. But at the same time, the blessing in it that I see, and the silver lining, is how respectful my children are and how positive they are with the way they handle it, you know, and being non-reactive. So if you know, everybody's laughing because, oh my God, the prank was played on the teacher, my kids are kind of quiet, you know, and it brings smile to my heart, because I feel like I'm raising some sensitive beings that are emotionally mature, and that's a good thing. So the mudra for this is the mudra that allows us for expression. Thumb is on the Mercury mount, so thumb is the ego and earth. It's just a refresher, and the pinky is connected to planet Mercury for expression and communication. So we're going to squeeze our ego and draw that energy. It's a backward stroke over the head, again purifying the arc line where is our karmic weight is. Focus at the eyebrow point. Your eyes are closed. You want to go within. Every time we open the eyes, the energy leaks out by about 50% for the brain to process the visual stimuli. So close the eyes, go within. There's nothing happening here except I'm doing the same thing. The breath is powerful through the O-shaped mouth. And you want to work the navel center. So inhale out, exhale, pulling it in. Stay connected to Mother Earth, so gently engaging the root lock, contracting the pelvic muscles lightly. Don't feel like you're constipated, you know, just light and gentle. And mentally, if you remember, when you remember, for me, it's like it comes and goes, mentally chanting the mantra Har, Har, H-A-R, and that means creation, the act of creation. God, it means seed, it means I release. And it, you know, it's got a lot of different definitions because Sanskrit language is complex. So if you remember, keep the mantra going. For 3 minutes, this is the most powerful thing that we could do. I think Kundalini Yoga has lots of practices that are 3 minutes that offer the most potency. So here we go. We're gonna establish the breath first. Get your mudra ready. And then begin swinging the arms backwards. This is your opportunity to allow your body to process the energy of anger, resentment, dissatisfaction of any sort. And so just let it. You don't have to attach and bring something to think about. Just let it be. Let the breath purify you. Last 30 seconds. Through the O-shaped mouth, deep inhale. Interlace the fingers, stretch the arms up overhead, pull the root lock, hold the gaze to the brow point. We hold this breath for 15 up to 30 seconds, whatever is available to you. Cannon breath out. 2 more times, just like that. Squeeze tight the root lock, squeeze the back muscles. Have your muscles in the back, hug the spine. Last one, deepest inhale. Inhale and bring your arms out to the side. Stay here in this space, close your eyes, go within. Sensing and feeling. Noticing and observing. Now let's take a deep inhale together. A sigh or an exhale. 2 more times. And when you're ready, you may gently open your eyes. Good. So now take a little bit of water if you need to. I'm enjoying a Thai hot tea, one of my favorite beverages. Okay, moving on to our meditation, 6 minutes of breath work. So we're inhaling for 5 seconds, slow and deep, exhaling for 5 seconds, fully and completely, and then suspending the breath out. So keeping the breath out for up to 15 seconds, relaxing the diaphragm, relaxing the abdominal muscles, and just tap into that feeling of peace and serenity, because that's what you are. That's what you are. You are peace, you are love, you are this unwavering calmness, and we just forget that we have that. So it helps us tap in. And so the meditation to resolve your inner conflicts, to activate that reflex that helps you resolve those inner conflicts. Whether you have any conflicts or not is irrelevant. It doesn't matter. Whatever meant to come up will come up. And like I shared before, many days, many times, sometimes it happens during the practice, sometimes it happens after practice. Sometimes it happens 5 minutes later, sometimes it happens 5 months later. So who knows? But trust the process. Trust that the work that you're putting in, you will reap the benefits at some point, whether consciously or unconsciously. The body keeps score. Remember that. The body keeps score. Every thought that you say to yourself, every cell in your body hears that thought. So be mindful of that. All right, so hands come onto the chest, all fingers are together, thumbs up pointing up, sitting up nice and tall again, gazing to the brow point if that's comfortable for you, or having the eyelids 9/10 closed, letting just a little bit of light coming through, looking down. Let's take a cleansing breath first. Deep inhale through the nose and exhale. And then just begin to slowly inhale for 5 counts. Exhale for 5 counts. And then keeping the breath out comfortably, being in a stillness for up to 15 counts. Now repeating the cycle. Make this your last cycle. And when you're ready, take a deep inhale. And exhale. Inhale again, stretch your arms up overhead. And exhale. And remember to pull on Mula Bandha, root lock. Inhale deeply again. Shake the arms, shake all the excess energy, just balance. Shake the spine. And exhale. Once again, stay in this meditative space. Let's take a deep inhale, a sigh or an exhale. A few more times. You're ready, and gently open your eyes. Sat Nam. All right, very well. That completes our practice. Let's bring our hands into prayer mudra again to seal our practice with one long Sat Nam. Inhale deeply first. Exhale. Inhale. Satnam. Thank you so much for continuing to show up, to engage with your soul, with your spirit, to work on yourself, to better yourself. When we heal ourselves, when we better ourselves, then we show up fully to serve the world and people around us. Satnam. I will see you tomorrow. Even though it's a holiday, we still do the daily work, the daily grind. And have a beautiful, beautiful weekend. And I'll see you tomorrow. Satnam.